Yeah. EAV, GV, Christ love, the universe. Yeah, so there's been some questions asked of me about reincarnation, transmigration of the soul. And so I would start, United States of America is only 250 years old, so I'll start 300 years ago. 300 years ago, I was a king in the name of the Lord, Yahweh. I had my own kingdom. I was amongst other kings, and we were running our land and taking care of our people, respectively. And something was happening on the earth. Boats were coming up missing. Certain boats, if you traveled a certain direction, the boat never made it to its destination, and those people were never seen again. So 300 years ago, I, as the king of my kingdom, I was going to visit another lord, and sure enough, I got on our boat, and our boat never made it, and an angel contacted me while I was in my distress, and I was found. And about 250 years ago, I started my angelic work with the angel Ariel, who named me Uriel. And we did our part for several decades, helping out people in the world. Every 2 weeks, we would appear in a certain village, and we would help the people out. And we were going around with the Lord of Hosts at that time. And then around mid-1800s, or a little bit before, definitely after the War of 1812, of which we participated in, I was sent to the source, because I had been calling on the Creator, and I was not known at the time, so I went to the source. I was sent, actually, and I spent a little time there. It was a great time, and eventually I was sent from the source, since I had been created on the earth, and I returned around 1870, and at the time the slaves were being released out of the United States of America, out of different names of the Lord. I obviously took the name of the Lord, Yahweh, and I was helping to release slaves around 1870. That lasted until right before the invasion. And the invasion happened, they called it World War II. It wasn't called World War II at the time. It's kind of ironic. I'm staying at the same home that I was living in 70 years ago. I had bought this home and another home and some other property around this area. And so I'm still here, just transmigrating in my reincarnation, excuse me. And the invasion took place, and I took on another incarnation. They called me Baby No. At the time, that's what the angels called me, Baby No. And that lasted for just a little while. And then I was recreated once again around 1949. And I returned to the home where I am now. And I stayed here for a couple of years. And I went through another trial. And I was rescued out of my distress at that time, and I was recreated and named the universe Love around 1951 or so for you guys' time. I was actually in the heavens, and we don't have time, but it took place around then. Then I came back. I came back in the name of love, and I tried helping this place out again in the 1950s, and there was a meeting that took place, and many of the so-called lords at the time, they banished me from the earth in the name of love. They told me that my standard of love was too high for the normal people, and if I loved the Lord, then I should go back to heaven where I came from. And so that's what I did. And then I returned in 1961. I answered a call. A call was made in the name of the Lord Yahweh, and I answered a call from heaven, and I came back In 1961, we went out to another civil war conflict out in Los Angeles. I was named Christ in 1962 by Jewish people at a court system. And that lasted until around 1968. And I did a few things out west in California. There was another civil conflict. Now it's called Vietnam, but that's not what it was called then. And around 1976, I returned. It's called the Second Coming of Christ. And for the last 40 years, that's what I and the Holy Spirit have been doing, trying to save the world. Yeah. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. Love, love, love. Yeah. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. It's alright, lovely. Love, love, love. Christ love. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. Yahweh. Christ love. Yeah. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. Christ love. Yahweh. Yeah. Christ love. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. It's alright, lovely. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. Christ love. Yahweh. It's alright, lovely. Christ love. It's alright, lovely. Yeah. Yahweh. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Yeah, yeah. It's alright. Lovely. It's alright. Lovely. Yeah, yeah. It's alright. Lovely. Yeah, yeah. Christ love. Yahweh. Love, love, love. Christ love. It's alright. Lovely. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's alright.